Well, thanks for being here. And for our first question, we just want to know what inspired your interest in the field of like substance misuse prevention, harm reduction. Essentially, what just brought you and inspired you to this work?
Well, I was a 23-year-old when I was, battling my own struggles with alcohol and stopped drinking. And after that, I didn't know what to do. So I was like, I dropped out of college and didn't know quite what to do with my life. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go back to school and decided to become a substance use counselor. So I worked with Integral Care here in Austin for about 8 years. And that was the work that really got me into understanding just how dynamic this world is of, alcohol misuse. And I really had firsthand experience with harm reduction and understanding just, just how vast, it really is and how many people can be, reached and changed by these initiatives.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and so right now, you created Sans Bar in Austin. Could you speak a little bit more about that and how it's really innovative and something new in this space?
Well, yeah, thank you. So I was a counselor and I was working with people, and most people that came into my office were not problem substance users. They got into trouble maybe on campus, or they maybe had a public intoxication or something like that, and they would come to get counseling. And I realized that for a vast amount of people, they didn't want to get drunk. They didn't want to even drink. They just didn't know what else to do because there just weren't many options apart from like going out to bars or going out to parties. And I just thought there needed to be an alternative. And so that's really why I created Sanspar. I wanted there to be an alternative to the nightlife that is everywhere in Austin. And I wanted it to be fun, sophisticated, vibrant. I wanted it to feel like a cool experience because, again, I was 23 when I stopped drinking, and I didn't have those places to go. It was like coffee shops or like home. And it just made it seem like being alcohol free was boring, and I didn't want that for other people. I wanted to show people that being alcohol free or even drinking less was a viable lifestyle that was not boring, and it could be full of fun and adventure and feel really different in a cool way.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's great to see that come to life here in Austin. Um, so this next question might be a little bit more, I guess, deep, but what does prevention mean to
Hmm.
you?
Hmm. The word that came to me was compassion. Um, Prevention means compassion. It means that um, I value who you are enough to offer you options and different paths, um, because I want to see you grow and excel as a human being. And I mean that's and I've never thought of prevention in that way, but it really is like it's not um, diversion. It's not um, punishment. It's certainly not that. It really is compassion. It's saying like I want you to have the best possible life that you can have. I value who you are as a wonderful, amazing, incredible human being, and I want you to have a life that is free from some negative consequences. And when you view it through that lens, um, it's an amazing thing and something that's available to everyone. It's open to everyone. I want to be compassionate to everyone, and so yeah, prevention to me means compassion. It means offering alternatives um, that show that I care.
I really love that definition. It's so inclusive and so welcoming. Thank you for for providing that for us. So, when we're thinking about substance use, substance misuse, what do you believe is one misconception that people hold? Like, what's something that you want people to know and understand about this field?
Hmm. I would want people to understand that substance misuse is more prevalent than people realize. Um, but it's not an end of your life sentence. It's not an end of your lifestyle sentence. I feel like people avoid the idea of substance misuse because they're afraid that if they acknowledge that there may be an issue, and I'm not talking about just the individual, but as a society, if we acknowledge like, oh, maybe substances are showing up in spaces that they shouldn't, or they're adversely impacting certain people, like if we acknowledge that truth, then that means that the fun is over, the party is over, the adventure is over, the freedom is over. And I just do not believe that that is true. I believe that um, if we acknowledge that there is substance misuse in many areas, in many locations, and in many ways, um, we are able to go back to that compassion piece, and we're able to meet people where they're at and offer them alternatives that are safe and that are really truly inclusive, and that don't have those same negative consequences. I just feel like substance misuse gets a bad rap. It gets a bad, it gets the people don't want to talk about it, and people want to like put this very like morbid, kind of ideas around it. And I just don't think it has to be that way. I think ultimately, talking about substance misuse is talking about life, is talking about inclusion, is talking about um, positive things. It's not talking about negative, sad, or immoral things.
Absolutely. And, on that note of trying to start these conversations and have them respectfully, I mentioned I'm a student, Shift is on a university campus. So, thinking along those lines, like, what do you think students can do? How can students become more involved in this work and creating a safer, more caring, in your words, compassionate community?
Yeah, I think it's incumbent upon students to see themselves as powerful agents of change. When I when I was undergrad, I certainly did not see myself that way, and I regret it because I did not realize that I was responsible for the way that the campus looked. Like I was. It wasn't so much faculty. It wasn't the administration. It really was the student body. Like we, or you have the power to shape the way culture shifts on campus, and it's inevitable, right? Like you can't avoid it. I love it. You have that power, and recognize that power, accept that power, um, and understand that it is also, with that power comes the responsibility to create spaces that are equitable and safe and inclusive for everyone. um, you will not lose any of the college experience by creating more inclusive and diverse spaces. And we talk about inclusion, we talk about diversity in context of race and identity, but we also need to talk about it in context of the sobriety spectrum, or the alcohol-free spectrum. Like, some people choose not to drink for many reasons, and our social spaces on college campuses should reflect that. It should look like we offer beverages that are for everyone, not just people who drink.
Absolutely. Thank you so, so much. Those were like the questions that we had on our end, kind of a quick flash interview. But thank you so much for taking the time to be here today, to share your words of wisdom with students and, all people on the UT campus. Do you have anything else that you want to add or share kind of before we conclude this?
No, other than I am just excited to see what's going to happen at UT. I have such high hopes because I know that this is a student-led movement, and that is ultimately the most, I think, the most rewarding thing to watch. And I know that if it's gonna, what's gonna happen at UT is going to change the rest of collegiate life across the country. So I'm very excited to see what happens with Shift.